21 Black R&B legends with the most controversial love lives. Have you ever wondered whether the greatest voices in R&B were hiding their most complicated love stories behind the music we all know and love? Some found lifelong happiness, while others faced heartbreaking betrayals, secret romances, painful divorces, and relationships that still spark debate decades later. In today's video, we're uncovering the fascinating love lives of legendary Black R&B icons, stories that are emotional, surprising, and rooted in documented history, not rumors. Stay with us until the very end, because a few of these legendary romances may completely change how you see these music icons. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which story shocked you the most. Welcome to Golden Black Legends. Chaka Khan. When people think of Chaka Khan, they often remember the powerhouse voice behind classics like I'm Every Woman and Ain't Nobody. Yet behind the dazzling performances stood a woman whose love life attracted nearly as much attention as her music. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Chaka became known for living boldly, refusing to fit the traditional expectations placed on black female artists. While tabloids frequently focused on her romantic relationships, the real story was far more complex. Her journey was not defined by scandal alone, but by a lifelong struggle to balance love, fame, addiction, and personal freedom. That complicated path is one reason her story still fascinates fans decades later. Born Yvette Marie Stevens in Chicago, Chaka Khan first rose to fame as the lead singer of the funk band Rufus before launching a hugely successful solo career. Across more than 5 decades, she has earned 10 Grammy Awards, sold an estimated 70 million records worldwide, and secured her place among the greatest voices in R&B history. As her popularity exploded, so did public curiosity about her personal life. Chaka experienced several high-profile relationships and 2 marriages, while openly admitting that fame often exposed her to unhealthy environments filled with temptation. Rather than hiding those difficult chapters, she later spoke candidly about the emotional consequences of addiction and the mistakes she made along the way. One of the most challenging periods of her life involved years of dependence on cocaine and other substances, struggles she has discussed honestly in interviews and her autobiography. She eventually entered rehabilitation, crediting faith, family, and determination for helping her rebuild her life. Over time, Chaka transformed personal hardship into strength, becoming an advocate for addiction, recovery, and mental wellness while continuing to perform around the world. Her willingness to confront painful experiences publicly earned admiration from fans who appreciated her honesty as much as her extraordinary talent. Looking back today, Chaka Khan's legacy extends far beyond headlines about romance or controversy. Her love life occasionally generated public discussion, but it never overshadowed the remarkable career she built through perseverance, authenticity, and one of the most recognizable voices in modern music. Instead of allowing public judgment to define her, Chaka chose to write her own story, one filled with unforgettable songs, hard-earned lessons, and resilience. More than 50 years after she first stepped onto the stage, she remains not only a legendary performer, but also a powerful example of a woman who embraced both her triumphs and imperfections without ever losing her unmistakable voice. Marvin Gaye. Few artists in music history embodied both extraordinary talent and profound personal conflict like Marvin Gaye. Revered for timeless classics such as Let's Get It On, Sexual Healing, and What's Going On, Marvin became one of the defining voices of soul music. Yet behind the smooth vocals and romantic image was a man whose complicated love life often attracted as much attention as his remarkable artistry. Throughout the 1970s, his relationships, marriages, and emotional struggles frequently made headlines, reflecting a life where passion and pain existed side by side. Rather than simply becoming tabloid material, those experiences inspired some of the most honest and emotionally powerful songs ever recorded. Born in Washington, D.C. in 1939, Marvin Gaye signed with Motown in the early 1960s and gradually transformed from a polished performer into one of the industry's most influential singer-songwriters. His marriage to Anna Gordy, sister of Motown founder Berry Gordy, initially appeared stable despite their 17-year age difference. Over time, however, the relationship became increasingly strained. Financial pressures, career disagreements, and mutual infidelity eventually led to divorce in 1977. During the legal proceedings, Marvin famously agreed to dedicate royalty payments from his album Here My Dear to satisfy part of the divorce settlement, creating one of the most personal records in popular music history. His relationship with Janice Hunter later brought renewed happiness and 2 children, but it also faced significant challenges as Marvin battled depression, drug addiction, and financial instability. Instead of separating his private life from his music, he poured those emotions directly into his lyrics, allowing listeners to experience both his deepest joys and greatest heartbreaks. Friends often described him as intensely sensitive, a man constantly searching for peace while struggling with inner conflict that fame alone could never heal. Marvin Gaye's life ended tragically on April 1, 1984, when he was fatally shot by his father at the age of 44. Despite that heartbreaking ending, his legacy remains immeasurable. His complicated love life was never simply about controversy, it became the emotional foundation for songs that continue to resonate across generations. More than 40 years after his passing, Marvin Gaye remains one of the greatest storytellers in music, proving that vulnerability can become an artist's greatest strength. Diana Ross. Long before she became one of the world's most recognizable entertainers, Diana Ross was the young voice leading the Supremes to unprecedented success at Motown Records. Elegant, ambitious, and fiercely determined, she quickly became a global icon whose career extended far beyond music into film, fashion, and television. Yet alongside her extraordinary achievements, Diana's romantic relationships often generated public fascination. Throughout the height of her fame, newspapers and magazines frequently speculated about the powerful men connected to her life. While rumors often overshadowed reality, Diana consistently refused to let public opinion define either her personal choices or her professional ambitions. Born in Detroit in 1944, Diana helped transform the Supremes into Motown's most successful act, earning 12 #1 Billboard hits before launching an equally impressive solo career. Her longtime relationship with Motown founder Berry Gordy became one of the industry's most discussed romances. Although the relationship eventually ended, Gordy remained the biological father of her eldest daughter, Rhonda Ross Kendrick, a fact publicly acknowledged years later. Diana later married music executive Robert Ellis Silberstein and subsequently Norwegian businessman Arne Næss Jr., building a family while continuing one of the busiest careers in entertainment. Balancing international fame with motherhood was never simple. Diana often spoke about the challenge of raising 5 children while maintaining an exhausting performance schedule that kept her traveling around the world. Despite intense media scrutiny, she rarely discussed private relationships in detail, preferring to let her work speak louder than gossip. Her discretion allowed her to preserve a sense of dignity even when tabloids eagerly searched for controversy. Today, Diana Ross is celebrated not because of rumors surrounding her love life, but because of the remarkable career she built through talent, discipline, and resilience. Her relationships occasionally attracted headlines, yet they never overshadowed her influence on popular music or her role in breaking barriers for Black women in entertainment. More than 6 decades after first stepping onto the Motown stage, Diana Ross remains an enduring symbol of elegance, independence, and artistic excellence, whose legacy continues to inspire performers across generations. Rick James. Few musicians embraced fame with the same fearless intensity as Rick James, explosive on stage and unapologetically extravagant. Off it, he became one of funk music's most unforgettable personalities through hits like Super Freak, Give It To Me Baby, and Mary Jane. His larger-than-life image naturally drew attention to his romantic relationships, wild parties, and rebellious lifestyle. Unlike many entertainers who tried to separate their private lives from their public image, Rick openly admitted that excess became part of the world he created. His story is both a celebration of extraordinary creativity and a cautionary tale about the consequences of fame without limits. Born James Ambrose Johnson Jr. in Buffalo, New York, Rick's musical journey included an early stint in Canada where he briefly associated with musicians who would later form the band Steppenwolf. After signing with Motown in the late 1970s, he quickly emerged as one of the label's biggest stars. His relationship with singer Betty Davis has often been credited with influencing his bold fashion sense and fearless artistic identity, while later romances frequently attracted media attention. Rather than hiding his lifestyle, Rick openly acknowledged years of drug abuse and reckless behavior that affected both his personal relationships and professional career. The darkest chapter of his life came in the early 1990s when legal troubles resulted in convictions for assault and unlawful imprisonment connected to separate incidents involving two women. After serving time in prison, Rick publicly expressed regret over many of his past decisions while continuing to perform and record music. Although his health declined because of years of substance abuse, he remained creatively active whenever possible. Rick James died in August 2004 at the age of 56. Medical reports identified multiple health conditions, with years of drug use contributing to his declining health. Despite the controversies that surrounded him, his influence on funk, R&B, and hip-hop remains undeniable. His complicated love life reflected a broader pattern of living without restraint, but it should never overshadow his groundbreaking musical achievements. Today, Rick James is remembered as a revolutionary performer whose extraordinary talent forever changed the sound of popular music. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston possessed one of the greatest voices ever recorded, captivating audiences with timeless songs, including I Will Always Love You, Greatest Love of All, and I Have Nothing. Her breathtaking success made her an international superstar, yet her private life often unfolded under relentless public scrutiny. More than almost any singer of her generation, Whitney's romantic relationships became inseparable from the headlines surrounding her career. Behind the glamorous image stood a woman searching for acceptance, stability, and genuine love while carrying the enormous pressure of global fame. Born in Newark, New Jersey in 1963, Whitney grew up surrounded by music with gospel legend Cissy Houston as her mother and a family deeply connected to the entertainment industry. During the 1980s, she formed a close relationship with longtime friend Robin Crawford, who later revealed that the two had shared a romantic relationship early in their lives before deciding to remain close companions. In 1992, Whitney married Bobby Brown, creating one of the music industry's most talked about couples. Their marriage produced daughter Bobby Christina Brown, but also endured years of public conflict, substance abuse, and intense media attention before ending in divorce in 2007. Throughout those difficult years, Whitney struggled with addiction while continuing to perform before millions of fans. She later acknowledged many of those challenges publicly, expressing hope that honesty about her experiences might help others facing similar battles. Despite personal setbacks, she continued recording music and attempting to rebuild both her health and career, demonstrating remarkable determination in the face of extraordinary pressure. Whitney Houston died on February 11, 2012 at the age of 48, leaving behind an unmatched musical legacy. Her love life often became front-page news, but it represented only one part of an extraordinary story. Above everything else, Whitney should be remembered for a voice that transformed modern music and touched countless lives. Her journey reminds us that even the brightest stars can carry hidden struggles, making her triumphs and heartbreaks equally unforgettable. Gladys Knight. For decades, Gladys Knight has been celebrated as the Empress of Soul, a title earned through timeless hits and one of the most recognizable voices in American music. Yet beyond the spotlight, her personal life often attracted nearly as much attention as her remarkable career. While Gladys built a reputation for grace and professionalism, she also experienced several high-profile marriages, difficult divorces, and emotional challenges that kept her private life in the public eye. Rather than allowing those experiences to define her, she transformed heartbreak into resilience, proving that lasting success is measured not only by awards, but by the ability to rise after life's most painful moments. Born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1944, Gladys Knight first gained national recognition with Gladys Knight and the Pips, producing classics such as Midnight Train to Georgia, If I Were Your Woman, and Neither One of Us. As the group's popularity grew throughout the 1960s and 1970s, her demanding schedule often collided with family responsibilities. Knight married 4 times during her life, openly acknowledging that balancing international fame with personal relationships was never easy. Her marriages to James Newman Barry Hankerson, Les Brown, and eventually William McDowell each represented different chapters of personal growth rather than public scandal. While some relationships ended painfully, Knight consistently chose dignity over public conflict, rarely responding to gossip that surrounded her private life. Beyond romance, Gladys also overcame a serious gambling addiction during the late 1980s, a struggle she later discussed honestly after receiving professional help. That experience strengthened both her faith and her commitment to family, allowing her to rebuild her life with renewed purpose. Throughout every setback, she continued recording, touring, and inspiring audiences with the emotional honesty that has always defined her music. Today, Gladys Knight remains one of the most respected figures in R&B history. Her love life occasionally generated headlines, but it never overshadowed her extraordinary artistry or enduring influence. Instead, her journey reminds us that even legendary performers face deeply personal battles. Through every triumph and disappointment, Gladys has remained a symbol of perseverance, proving that true elegance is found not in a perfect life, but in the courage to keep moving forward with grace. Janet Jackson. Few artists have reinvented themselves as successfully as Janet Jackson. Born into one of the world's most famous musical families, she refused to remain simply Michael Jackson's younger sister. Instead, Janet built her own identity through groundbreaking albums including Control, Rhythm Nation, 1814, and The Velvet Rope. Alongside her artistic success came enormous curiosity about her private life. Throughout her career, the media closely followed her romances, marriages, and carefully guarded personal decisions, often creating headlines that overshadowed her music. Yet Janet consistently maintained one principle: her personal life belonged to her, not the public. Born in Gary, Indiana in 1966, Janet entered show business as a child before transforming into a global superstar during the mid-1980s. Her breakthrough album, Control, symbolized independence not only professionally but personally, reflecting her determination to make her own choices. Over the years, she experienced several important relationships, including marriages to James DeBarge, Renee Elizondo Jr., and later, Qatari businessman Wissam Al-Mana. She also faced years of speculation regarding rumored romances with fellow entertainers, though Janet rarely confirmed stories unless she chose to speak publicly herself. That privacy became one of her defining characteristics despite decades of relentless media attention. Motherhood brought another significant chapter to her life. In 2017, at the age of 50, Janet welcomed her son Isa, an event that profoundly changed her priorities. Although her marriage ended shortly afterward, she focused on raising her child while continuing to perform worldwide. Her ability to balance family responsibilities with an international career further strengthened public admiration for her resilience. Looking back today, Janet Jackson's legacy extends far beyond discussions of romance. Her relationships occasionally sparked curiosity, but her greatest achievement remains her influence on modern music, dance, and female artistic independence. She consistently challenged expectations, proving that confidence, creativity, and self-determination could redefine an entire generation of performers. More than 40 years after beginning her career, Janet remains one of R&B's most influential and admired icons. Millie Jackson. Long before bold lyrics became common in popular music, Millie Jackson was already breaking every rule. Fearless, outspoken, and completely unapologetic, she built a career unlike anyone else in R&B. While many female singers carefully protected a polished public image, Millie openly discussed sex, relationships, heartbreak, and desire with a level of honesty that shocked audiences throughout the 1970s. Her fearless approach made her both controversial and unforgettable. For some critics, she went too far. For millions of fans, however, she simply said aloud what others were too afraid to admit. Born in Thompson, Georgia, in 1944, Millie Jackson rose to prominence through albums filled with a unique blend of soul blues humor and spoken word storytelling. Songs such as "If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right" showcased not only her powerful voice but also her willingness to explore complicated emotions without apology. Throughout her career, she deliberately challenged traditional expectations placed upon black female performers. Her concerts often included unscripted conversations with audiences mixing comedy, romance, and brutally honest observations about everyday relationships. That authenticity became her trademark. Unlike many artists whose reputations were shaped by tabloid speculation, Millie herself embraced her image as an outspoken woman who refused to hide her opinions. She often explained that discussing intimacy honestly did not make someone immoral, it simply made them truthful. Although her bold style limited mainstream radio exposure in some markets, it earned deep respect from audiences who appreciated her refusal to conform. Her influence can still be seen in generations of R&B and hip-hop artists who later adopted similarly candid approaches to songwriting. Today, Millie Jackson is recognized as one of the most fearless voices in soul music history. Her personal life attracted attention because she challenged social conventions, not because she sought controversy for its own sake. More than 50 years after her breakthrough, her legacy continues to remind listeners that genuine artistic freedom often requires the courage to ignore criticism. Millie Jackson did exactly that, leaving behind a career defined by honesty, confidence, and unforgettable music. Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton captivated audiences during the 1990s with a rich, emotional voice that transformed heartbreak into unforgettable music. Songs like "Breathe Again", "Unbreak My Heart", and "Another Sad Love Song" established her as one of R&B's defining artists. Yet while her music explored complicated relationships, her own love life frequently became the subject of public attention. Between financial setbacks, long-term romances, and personal health challenges, Toni experienced both extraordinary success and painful disappointment. Through it all, she remained remarkably honest about the lessons she learned along the way. Born in Severn, Maryland in 1967, Toni achieved international fame soon after releasing her debut album in 1993. Despite selling tens of millions of records, she faced severe financial difficulties that eventually led to two highly publicized bankruptcy filings. At the same time, she balanced an active career with family life, marrying musician Carrie Lewis in 2001. Together they welcomed two sons before divorcing in 2013. Later, her highly publicized relationship with rapper Birdman generated widespread media interest, though the couple ultimately ended their engagement after several years together. Beyond romance, Tony demonstrated extraordinary resilience. While managing serious health conditions, including lupus and later a diagnosis related to microvascular angina. Rather than hiding those struggles, she openly discussed them in interviews, encouraging greater awareness and understanding. Her willingness to share both professional and personal challenges strengthened her connection with fans who admired her honesty as much as her music. Today, Toni Braxton remains one of contemporary R&B's most respected performers. Her relationships have occasionally attracted headlines, but they never defined her legacy. Instead, audiences remember an artist whose unmistakable voice, emotional authenticity, and determination carried her through triumph and adversity alike. More than 3 decades after her breakthrough, Toni continues to inspire listeners by proving that even life's deepest heartbreaks can become the foundation for timeless music. Donna Summer. Donna Summer forever changed popular music by becoming the unmistakable voice of the disco era. With global hits including Love to Love You Baby, Hot Stuff, and Last Dance, she transformed dance floors around the world while helping define an entire generation. Her sensual performances and glamorous image often sparked public curiosity about her personal life, leading many people to confuse her artistic expression with her private character. In reality, Donna's journey was far more nuanced than the headlines suggested, shaped by faith, family, and a constant search for balance between international fame and personal fulfillment. Born La Donna. Adrian Gaines in Boston, Massachusetts in 1948, Summer first found success while performing in Germany before returning to the United States and launching one of the most successful careers in music history. Her breakthrough, recording Love to Love You Baby, became controversial because of its sensual vocal style. Yet Donna repeatedly explained that it was a theatrical performance rather than a reflection of her everyday life. As her popularity exploded, so did media attention surrounding her relationships and glamorous lifestyle. She married actor Helmut Sommer before later marrying singer and producer Bruce Sudano, with whom she remained until her passing. Unlike many celebrities associated with the nightlife of the disco era, Donna gradually embraced a quieter life centered on family and Christian faith. She openly acknowledged that the pressures of fame sometimes conflicted with her personal values, leading her to re-evaluate many aspects of her career and public image. Throughout the following decades, she continued recording, painting, and raising her children while maintaining an enduring connection with fans worldwide. Donna Summer passed away in 2012 at the age of 63 after battling lung cancer. Although her love life occasionally attracted media attention, her lasting legacy rests on groundbreaking music, extraordinary vocal talent, and remarkable perseverance. She remains one of the most influential women in R&B and disco history, proving that behind every legendary performer is a deeply human story of ambition, love, faith, and resilience. Ronald Isley. Few voices have remained as instantly recognizable across 6 decades of music as Ronald Isley's. As the longtime frontman of the Isley Brothers, he helped shape the sound of R&B, soul funk, and Quiet Storm with classics such as For the Love of You, Between the Sheets, and Voyage to Atlantis. Yet alongside his remarkable career, Ronald's personal life occasionally attracted public attention. His marriages, highly publicized legal troubles, and enduring romance later in life reminded fans that even legendary performers face challenges far beyond the recording studio. Rather than allowing controversy to define him, Isley consistently returned to the music that first made him an icon. Born in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1941, Ronald began performing as a child alongside his brothers before the Isley Brothers achieved national success with Shout in 1959. Over the following decades, the group continuously reinvented its sound, remaining commercially relevant while many contemporaries faded. Ronald's first marriage ended in divorce after many years together. Later, he found lasting happiness with singer Candy Johnson, whom he married in 2005 despite their significant age difference. Their relationship attracted media attention, but both have consistently described their marriage as one built on mutual respect, family, and shared faith rather than public spectacle. One of the most difficult chapters of Ronald's life came in 2006 when he pleaded guilty to federal tax evasion. He served approximately 3 years in prison before returning to music with renewed determination. Rather than disappearing after his release, he reunited with fans through new recordings, collaborations, and successful tours, demonstrating remarkable resilience. His willingness to rebuild his career earned admiration from audiences who valued both his honesty and perseverance. Today, Ronald Isley remains one of R&B's most enduring legends. His love life occasionally generated headlines, but his extraordinary influence on American music has always overshadowed temporary controversy. More than 60 years after the Isley brothers first found success, Ronald continues to inspire new generations with timeless music, proving that redemption, loyalty, and artistic excellence can outlast even life's most difficult setbacks. Betty Davis. Long before female artists openly challenged social expectations through music, Betty Davis was already doing exactly that. Bold, fearless, and unapologetically original, she shattered conventions with provocative lyrics, daring fashion, and electrifying stage performances that shocked many audiences during the 1970s. While some critics focused on her outspoken image and unconventional relationships, Betty viewed her work as an expression of artistic freedom rather than controversy. Her fearless approach influenced generations of performers, even though mainstream recognition arrived much later than many believed she deserved. Born Betty Mabry in Durham, North Carolina, in 1945, she first gained attention as a successful fashion model in New York before entering the music industry. In 1968, she married jazz legend Miles Davis, introducing him to elements of rock, funk, and contemporary youth culture that influenced his groundbreaking musical evolution. Although their marriage lasted less than a year, it became one of the most discussed relationships in modern music history. Betty later explained that both were fiercely independent personalities whose creative ambitions often collided. Despite the brief marriage, her influence on Miles's artistic direction has been widely acknowledged by historians and musicians alike. Launching her solo career in the early 1970s, Betty released 3 critically acclaimed albums that challenged traditional expectations of black female performers. Her sexually confident lyrics and uncompromising image generated controversy, causing some radio stations to refuse airplay. Rather than changing her style to satisfy industry expectations, Betty remained committed to complete artistic independence. Although commercial success proved limited during her lifetime, her music gradually gained recognition as an important foundation for later funk rock and neo-soul artists. Betty Davis passed away in 2022 at the age of 77. Today, she is remembered not for scandal, but for courage. Her personal relationships occasionally drew public curiosity, yet her true legacy lies in her refusal to compromise her artistic vision. Decades after her recordings were first released, Betty Davis continues to be celebrated as one of the most influential and fearless pioneers in black music history. Patti LaBelle. Few performers have earned the respect and admiration that Patti LaBelle enjoys after more than 6 decades in entertainment. Celebrated for her extraordinary voice, unforgettable stage presence, and enduring influence on R&B, soul, and gospel, Patti has built a legacy defined by excellence rather than sensational headlines. Still, like many legendary artists, her personal relationships occasionally attracted public curiosity. Throughout her career, she carefully balanced international fame with family responsibilities, choosing dignity and privacy, even as media attention followed nearly every aspect of her life. Born Patricia Louise Holte in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1944, Patti first rose to prominence with Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells before reinventing herself alongside the groundbreaking trio LaBelle. Their 1974 hit Lady Marmalade became a cultural phenomenon, helping establish Patti as one of the most dynamic performers of her generation. During much of her rise to fame, she was married to longtime manager Armstead Edwards. Their marriage lasted over 30 years before ending in divorce in 2003. Despite the separation, Patti has consistently spoken respectfully about their shared history, emphasizing family and mutual support rather than conflict. Unlike many celebrities whose private lives became constant tabloid material, Patti rarely allowed rumors to overshadow her career. Instead, she devoted increasing attention to her children, grandchildren, charitable work, and successful business ventures, including best-selling cookbooks and food products. She has often explained that maturity taught her the importance of protecting peace over publicity, a philosophy reflected in the grace with which she has navigated decades of fame. Today, Patti LaBelle remains one of the most beloved figures in American music. Her love life has occasionally sparked public interest, but it has never defined her remarkable career. Instead, audiences remember an artist whose unmatched vocal ability, generosity, and resilience continue to inspire generations. More than 60 years after she first stepped onto the stage, Patti's greatest legacy remains the music and humanity she has shared with the world. Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige transformed personal pain into one of the greatest careers in modern R&B. Known as the Queen of Hip-Hop Soul, she built her reputation by singing honestly about love, betrayal, healing, and self-discovery. Unlike many artists who carefully separated their public image from private struggles, Mary allowed listeners to witness both her triumphs and heartbreaks through her music. That emotional transparency created an extraordinary connection with fans, making her one of the most respected performers of her generation. Born in the Bronx, New York in 1971, Mary rose to fame in the early 1990s with albums that blended traditional R&B vocals with hip-hop production. As her career flourished, her personal relationships often became public conversation. She openly discussed surviving abusive relationships before achieving fame, experiences that deeply influenced songs such as No More Drama and Be Without You. In 2003, she married music executive Martin "Can-Do" Isaacs, believing she had finally found stability after years of emotional hardship. Unfortunately, the marriage ended in a highly publicized divorce in 2018 that included lengthy legal and financial disputes. Rather than hiding her pain, Mary transformed those experiences into music that resonated with millions facing similar struggles. Beyond relationships, Mary also overcame battles with depression, alcohol abuse, and childhood trauma. She has repeatedly credited therapy, faith, and personal growth with helping her reclaim both her confidence and her happiness. Instead of allowing adversity to define her future, she expanded into acting, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy while continuing to release critically acclaimed music. Today, Mary J. Blige stands as a symbol of resilience and authenticity. Her love life has experienced difficult chapters, but those experiences became the foundation of songs that have comforted audiences around the world. More than 30 years after her debut, Mary continues to remind listeners that vulnerability is not weakness. It is often the first step toward healing, strength, and lasting greatness. Natalie Cole. Natalie Cole inherited one of the greatest legacies in music history as the daughter of Nat King Cole. Yet, she refused to live in anyone else's shadow. Possessing a rich, soulful voice and remarkable stage presence, she built a successful career that earned multiple Grammy Awards and millions of devoted fans. Alongside her professional achievements, Natalie experienced a personal life marked by love loss, addiction, and redemption. Rather than hiding those struggles, she eventually shared them openly, inspiring audiences through both her honesty and perseverance. Born in Los Angeles, California in 1950, Natalie launched her recording career during the mid-1970s with hits such as This Will Be and Inseparable. Her rapid success brought enormous opportunities but also exposed her to the destructive influence of drug addiction. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, cocaine and heroin dependency severely affected both her health and personal relationships. She later entered rehabilitation, speaking candidly about the difficult journey toward recovery. Natalie married 3 times throughout her life, acknowledging that balancing family responsibilities with fame often proved challenging despite her best efforts. Her remarkable comeback during the 1990s became one of the greatest success stories in popular music. The album Unforgettable, with Love featuring innovative virtual duets with her late father sold millions of copies worldwide and earned several Grammy Awards. That achievement symbolized not only artistic excellence but also personal renewal after years of hardship. Natalie later became an advocate for addiction recovery and organ donation following a kidney transplant related to complications from hepatitis C. Natalie Cole passed away in 2015 at the age of 65. Although her personal relationships occasionally drew public attention, her enduring legacy rests on resilience, extraordinary vocal talent, and an unwavering commitment to rebuilding her life. Her story reminds audiences that even after profound setbacks, hope, determination, and music can create an inspiring second act. Stephanie Mills. Stephanie Mills became one of R&B's most recognizable voices through a remarkable combination of Broadway brilliance and soulful recording success. Best known for timeless hits like Never Knew Love Like This Before, and her unforgettable performance as Dorothy in the original Broadway production of The Wiz Mills captivated audiences with both her vocal power and emotional honesty. Yet while her music celebrated love and devotion, her personal relationships frequently attracted public attention. Over the years, her romances, marriages, and highly publicized dating life became topics of discussion, making her one of the era's most talked about female performers. Rather than allowing gossip to define her, Stephanie consistently focused on building a career rooted in talent and resilience. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1957, Stephanie displayed extraordinary musical ability from childhood, winning amateur talent competitions before making her Broadway debut as a teenager. Her breakthrough in The Wiz transformed her into a national star, opening the door to an impressive recording career throughout the late 1970s and 1980s. During those years, she was linked to several well-known entertainers, including widespread reports of a relationship with Michael Jackson during their younger years. Although many details remain private, Stephanie has openly acknowledged that balancing romance with international fame often proved difficult. She later married 3 times, including a marriage to actor Christopher Williams, but each relationship eventually ended in divorce. Instead of allowing disappointment to overshadow her future, Stephanie devoted herself to raising her son, who was born with Down syndrome, while continuing to tour and perform. She frequently spoke about how motherhood reshaped her priorities, giving her a deeper sense of purpose beyond commercial success. Throughout every stage of her life, music remained her greatest source of healing and strength. Today, Stephanie Mills continues to perform for devoted audiences who appreciate both her remarkable voice and her authenticity. Her love life occasionally generated headlines, but it never eclipsed the extraordinary artistry that made her a legend. More than 5 decades after beginning her career, Stephanie remains an inspiring example of perseverance, proving that true greatness is measured not by perfect relationships, but by the courage to keep singing through every chapter of life. Smokey Robinson. For generations of music lovers, Smokey Robinson has represented elegance, romance, and lyrical genius. As the voice behind countless Motown classics and one of the greatest songwriters in American history, he created timeless hits that defined an era. Ironically, while many of his songs celebrated lasting love, his own personal life experienced moments of heartbreak, temptation, and renewal. Rather than hiding those struggles, Robinson later spoke honestly about the mistakes he made, allowing fans to see the man behind the legendary voice. Born in Detroit, Michigan in 1940, Smokey founded the Miracles before becoming one of Motown's most influential artists and executives. His songwriting helped launch the careers of numerous performers, while songs such as the tracks of My Tears, Ooh Baby, Baby, and Cruisin' established him as one of soul music's greatest storytellers. During much of his rise to fame, Smokey was married to Claudette Rogers Robinson, a fellow member of the Miracles. Although they shared decades together and raised a family, their marriage faced serious challenges. Robinson later admitted to having an extramarital relationship that resulted in the birth of another son, an experience that placed enormous strain on his family and eventually contributed to the couple's divorce in 1986. Following that difficult chapter, Smokey openly discussed overcoming cocaine addiction during the mid-1980s, describing it as one of the darkest periods of his life. With determination, faith, and support from loved ones, he rebuilt both his health and career. He later married Frances Gladney, and the couple has remained together for many years, reflecting a more peaceful chapter of his personal journey. Today, Smokey Robinson's legacy extends far beyond discussions of romance or controversy. His extraordinary contributions to Motown and popular music have earned him countless honors, including induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. While his love life occasionally attracted public attention, his lasting influence comes from music that continues to unite generations. His story reminds us that even legendary artists are human, capable of mistakes, redemption, and enduring love. Faith Evans. Faith Evans emerged during the 1990s as one of contemporary R&B's most distinctive voices, combining powerful vocals with emotional storytelling that resonated with millions of listeners. While her music often explored themes of romance, heartbreak, and healing, her own love life unfolded under intense public scrutiny. From high-profile marriages to deeply personal losses, Faith experienced many of the same emotional struggles reflected in her songs. Rather than allowing tragedy to define her, she transformed those experiences into a career marked by resilience and artistic growth. Born in Lakeland, Florida, in 1973 and raised in New Jersey, Faith became the first female artist signed to Sean Puff Daddy Combs' Bad Boy Records. Her career quickly flourished with hit albums and collaborations that established her as one of R&B's leading voices. In 1994, she married rapper Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G., after a brief courtship. Their marriage attracted enormous media attention, particularly during the East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry. Although both acknowledged difficulties within the relationship, Faith remained devoted to preserving her family until Wallace's tragic death in 1997. Following that heartbreaking loss, Faith rebuilt both her personal and professional life. She later married record executive Todd Russell. And although that marriage eventually ended in divorce, she continued raising her children while expanding her career as a singer-songwriter, author, and producer. Throughout the years, she has consistently spoken about forgiveness, personal growth, and the importance of learning from painful experiences rather than remaining trapped by them. Today, Faith Evans is respected not only for her remarkable voice but also for her resilience in the face of extraordinary challenges. Her relationships have often attracted headlines, yet they never overshadowed her talent or determination. Instead, they became part of a larger story about survival, healing, and the strength to continue moving forward. More than 30 years after her debut, Faith remains one of modern R&B's most admired artists, proving that even life's deepest wounds can inspire extraordinary music. Etta James. Few singers poured raw emotion into every lyric quite like Etta James. Her unforgettable recordings of At Last I'd Rather Go Blind and Tell Mama established her as one of the greatest voices in blues, soul, and R&B history. Yet behind that extraordinary talent stood a woman whose life was filled with enormous challenges. Childhood instability, addiction, complicated relationships, and constant battles for personal peace shaped both the woman and the artist. Rather than separating those experiences from her music, Etta transformed every triumph and heartbreak into performances that continue to move audiences around the world. Born James Etta Hawkins in Los Angeles, California in 1938, Etta experienced a turbulent childhood and entered the music industry as a teenager. Her remarkable voice quickly attracted attention, leading to a career that spanned more than 5 decades. Alongside professional success came years of heroin addiction, legal troubles, and emotional turmoil that repeatedly threatened both her health and career. Etta later acknowledged that many of her romantic relationships were affected by the instability created by addiction, making it difficult to maintain lasting trust despite her deep desire for genuine love and family. A major turning point came when she committed herself to recovery during the late 1970s. Determined to reclaim her life, Etta rebuilt both her health and her career, returning to the stage with renewed strength and earning multiple Grammy Awards later in life. Her marriage to artist Mills endured for more than 4 decades despite many challenges, reflecting a relationship built on perseverance rather than perfection. As she grew older, Etta increasingly spoke about gratitude, family, and the lessons learned through hardship. Etta James passed away in 2012 at the age of 73 after battling leukemia and other serious health conditions. Although her personal life often included painful chapters, her extraordinary musical legacy has always stood above temporary controversy. More than anything, Etta is remembered as a fearless artist whose emotional honesty gave the world some of the greatest love songs ever recorded. Her life reminds us that true greatness often emerges not from perfection but from the courage to overcome unimaginable adversity. Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown's name has long been associated with extraordinary talent, undeniable charisma, and one of the most talked about personal lives in R&B history. As the breakout star of New Edition before launching a hugely successful solo career, Brown helped redefine contemporary R&B during the late 1980s. Songs like My Prerogative, Every Little Step, and Ronnie turned him into a global superstar. Yet while fans admired his confidence on stage, his romantic relationships and personal struggles often generated headlines that sometimes overshadowed his musical accomplishments. His story is not simply about controversy, but about the heavy price that fame can demand. Born in Boston, Massachusetts in 1969, Brown became one of the first artists to successfully blend R&B, pop, hip-hop, and New Jack Swing into a mainstream phenomenon. His marriage to Whitney Houston in 1992 instantly became one of the entertainment industry's most closely watched relationships. Together, they welcomed daughter Bobby Christina Brown, but years of overwhelming media attention, substance abuse, and personal struggles placed enormous pressure on their marriage. After nearly 15 years together, the couple divorced in 2007. Despite public speculation, Brown has repeatedly stated that he genuinely loved Whitney and deeply regretted many of the difficult moments they shared. The years that followed brought unimaginable heartbreak. Whitney Houston passed away in 2012, followed by the tragic death of their daughter Bobby Christina in 2015. Brown later endured the loss of son Bobby Brown Jr. in 2020 and another son Cassius Brown in 2024. These devastating events changed his outlook on life, leading him to speak openly about grief, addiction, recovery, mental health, and the importance of family. Rather than allowing tragedy to define him, he continued performing while using his experiences to encourage others facing similar struggles. Today, Bobby Brown's legacy extends far beyond tabloid headlines. His love life attracted enormous public attention, but his influence on modern R&B remains undeniable. More than 3 decades after becoming a superstar, he continues to be remembered as a pioneering performer whose journey reflects both the rewards and the painful consequences of life in the spotlight. Tina Turner. Tina Turner built one of the greatest comeback stories in music history, transforming unimaginable personal hardship into a legacy of strength, independence, and global success. While the world celebrated her electrifying performances and unforgettable voice, her personal life often became the subject of intense public attention. Yet unlike many celebrity romances defined by gossip, Tina's story was one of survival. Her journey from an abusive marriage to international superstardom inspired millions, making her one of the most admired women in entertainment history. Born Anna Mae Bullock in Nutbush, Tennessee in 1939, Tina first rose to fame alongside Ike Turner during the 1960s. Together, they produced classic hits including River Deep, Mountain High, and their Grammy-winning version of Proud Mary. Behind the scenes, however, Tina endured years of documented physical, emotional, and financial abuse. In 1976, she made the courageous decision to leave the marriage with almost nothing except determination to rebuild her future. Their divorce became final in 1978, and Tina accepted responsibility for many financial obligations in exchange for keeping the stage name that audiences already recognized around the world. Her remarkable comeback arrived in 1984 with Private Dancer, an album that sold more than 20 million copies worldwide and re-established her as one of music's biggest stars. During the following years, Tina eventually found lasting happiness with German music executive Erwin Bach. Their relationship lasted nearly 3 decades before they married in 2013. When Tina later suffered serious kidney disease, Bach donated one of his kidneys, an extraordinary act that reflected the depth of their lifelong partnership. Tina Turner passed away in 2023 at the age of 83 after a long illness. Although her relationships frequently attracted public attention, her lasting legacy is defined by resilience rather than controversy. She proved that love could exist after trauma, success could follow failure, and freedom was worth every sacrifice. Today, Tina remains an enduring symbol of courage whose music and life story continue to inspire generations around the world. As we reach the end of this journey, one question still lingers: were these legendary artists simply living life on their own terms? Or did the media unfairly magnify every relationship they had, from unforgettable romances to painful breakups and deeply personal struggles? Each story reminds us that behind every iconic voice was a real person searching for love while living under the spotlight. Their music has stood the test of time, but their personal lives continue to spark debate even today. Which legend surprised you the most, and whose story do you think has been misunderstood? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more untold stories from golden Black legends. Your support helps keep these remarkable legacies alive.